What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back, and we're doing our Week 11 power rankings as
Go.
usual. Lots of changes this week as we have another new number one for I think like 6 or 7 weeks in a row. Um, it's just been a crazy, season so far with lots of games, lots of upsets, especially this week.
Yes.
And we're just gonna get right into the team that's ranking last and everybody knows who it is.
Everyone knows who this is. It's the Detroit Lions. No surprise. They didn't necessarily look good against my Pittsburgh Steelers, but they came out with a tie and they didn't lose. So complain about that if you're a Lions fan. Not much else. They did not really play anything for anything this year except for that first overall pick.
31st, you got the Texans. Not much to say here. Just that Tyrod's healthy, and at least that gives you some upside. But it's definitely gonna be a top 5 pick kind of year.
Next, we have the Jets. Just got blown out by the Bills. Same type of scenario as the last two teams. Just really looking for that number one pick or a top 5 pick to help up that. Most likely, they're probably going defense, I would say, for the Jets.
And at 29th, you got the Jaguars, who have looked like they've turned the page this year after their first win. Since that win in London, I believe they're 2-2, and this team has
This was
been
a close
competitive.
loss.
Yeah, they've been competitive for sure. And expect them to give the 49ers a good game. But unfortunately, they just don't have as much talent as these other teams, so it's going to be hard for them to win the games.
Number 28, we got the Miami Dolphins. They surprisingly upset the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football last week. That was a well played game by Tua and the defense. It's just like a stereotypical Dolphins win. So good job there, but not much going on this season.
27th, yes, 27th, we got the Seattle Seahawks. And this team has just been, through it all, really. I mean, when Russ went down, they pretty much had a dumpster fire, and then Russ comes back and they don't even score a single point. I know Green Bay's defense is a top 10 defense this year, but you still got to score somehow. And now you get to go against the Cardinals, who are a top 10 team. And it's just looking like Seattle's going to have a good draft pick next year.
Now we're going with the Washington football team at number 28 or number 26, my fault. But they just came off a really impressive win against the Bucks. Kind of just made for a win there, kind of like a trap game for the Bucks. But you know what? They'll take the win. Still one of the worst secondaries in the league, though. So it's got some problems to solve this draft.
Especially now with Chase Young out for the year, and however long he's going to be out for, could be even into next year. Definitely going to be a rough start for Washington next year. And at 25th, we got the Bears, who Justin Fields finally looked super comfortable before, in week 9, he looked really comfortable against the 49ers. Even though they didn't get the win, Fields looked like he's even turned a page this year. And he gets an easier defense, passing defense wise, going against the Ravens. And it definitely will be interesting to see how he can handle that, going up against top 10 team this year.
Yes. And also they played the Steelers in week 9. So yes. Next we got at number 24, we got the New York Giants. They just came off a bye, so they're going to stay right at the same place as they did last week. They got the Bucks this week, big game. I'm thinking it'll be closer than you think, but most likely not coming out with the win.
And at 23rd, we got the Falcons, who I thought, last week, all right, this team, they got a shot for the playoffs, and then absolutely get demolished by 40 to Dallas. Now it's going to be how you respond, and it's going to be a good game, the Falcons versus Patriots. Game that's definitely going to fly under the radar because you got the Patriots, who's right now in the playoffs, and Falcons are just a half game out. And luckily it's a home game for them. So I expect this to be a really good game on Thursday night. But, they could be without Cordell Patterson, who has pretty much been the spark plug to that offense.
Right. At number 22, we got the Denver Broncos. See, I was thinking the same. Like They got a shot at the playoffs. They were sitting at 5-4, but kind of an ugly loss, another ugly loss to the Eagles. So they got some problems to solve, but it's a good week to have them because it's the bye this week. So, the offense got to get going.
And in 21st, we got those Philadelphia Eagles. They finally looked like how they should be all year this week against the Broncos. And let's see, if they can keep it rolling against the Saints, who have been pretty overwhelming, you could say, this year, exceeding expectations. And this is going to be a big game for Philly to keep those playoff chances alive.
Now we got the Cleveland Browns, which I'm happy as a Steelers fan to see them down here at number 20. Bad loss to the Patriots. They just looked outmatched and outcoached, and they just couldn't stop the run. That Ramad Stevenson guy had a crazy game. So Browns, they got to figure out the quarterback situation. I don't think it's right with Baker right now.
And 19th, we got the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton reuniting with his old squad. And I think it's just meant to be. Without Newton, this team looked terrible for the last few years. And now that he's back, they already pulled off a huge upset against Arizona. I mean, I know they didn't have Kyler or DeAndre Hopkins or even Chase Edmonds, but, you still got to go in there and beat them on the road. And they beat them by 24 points. I think this, Cam Newton, he's supposed to be the projected starter from here on out. And week 11, if they can win this game against the football team, they'll be moving up in the playoffs. Right now, I believe they're the 7 or 6 seed in the playoffs going into week 11. And a win here, will just bolster that.
Number 18, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Big win. They finally got one. They usually lose those close games. They play really close and they end up losing, but not this time. This week they got the Packers. So if they win this game, they're in that same in the hunt as the Panthers as well, and that's going to be exciting because they're a really good football team.
And at 17th, we got the 49ers, who came off a huge win last night on Monday Night Football. Definitely played a physical game as they wanted to dominate up front in the trenches and run the ball. And you saw that on the first drive as they just went right down the field. Took them 9 minutes, scored a touchdown. But this team, when healthy, they definitely can be a top 10 team in the league. With Kittle, having 2 monster weeks. Eli Mitchell has been the surprise and no one saw coming. He's been doing really well. And, Ayuk has finally stepped up. And I just think that, that NFC West was, kind of, it's already over. The race is over, at least for the 49ers. But, now with that big win against the Rams, that kind of puts them right back in that conversation if they can string a few wins here.
Number 16, we have the Colts. Big win against the Jags. A little bit too close, but, it doesn't matter. A win's a win. They got the Bills this week. If they can win this one, it's going to be a really good – I'm thinking it's going to be a really good division race at the end of the year. So the Titans right now, they have it, but if the Colts can get a game against the Titans later and they win all their divisional games, I think they got a shot.
15th, we got the Bengals, who were on a bye, and, they needed a much-needed bye to rest up, get Burrow healthy, Chase healthy, get them, in that right mindset. You got a big game this week against Vegas and the Raiders, and we'll see how both of these teams can respond. Raiders off a big loss against the Chiefs and the Bengals off the bye week. Definitely going to be a great game to watch.
We got my Steelers at number 14. It just did not look like they wanted to win the game against the Lions this week. Mason Rudolph, it's not – I don't blame it too much because we didn't have Ben. But Mason Rudolph did not look great. He looked okay, but didn't look like he should have. But yeah, they just turnovers killed us in this game. So that's it for the Steelers, man. That's good.
13th, we got those Raiders that I was just talking about. Ugly loss to Kansas City. They got Mahomes pretty much. Mahomes owns the Raiders, it feels like. And, they were just, 4-2 a few weeks ago. Now they're 5-4. And not saying it's a much needed win here, but It kind of is. Just, to keep up even in the AFC West and, even have a chance for the playoffs. They're going to face more than likely a playoff team or a hopeful this week, and we're going to really see what this Raider team is made of.
Number 12, we got the New Orleans Saints. They don't really seem like they should be here because they lost Jameis Winston earlier in the year. They don't really have that solid quarterback, but they've just been moving the ball, staying in games, and win some, and they lose some. So around that mediocre average type of record. But this week they got the Eagles. Should be a good one to watch. Be an interesting one.
And 11th, we got, you could say, the surprise team of the year in the New England Patriots. Really, they just need a 1 year to reload. And, Mac Jones and all their offseason spending has really started to pay off as they just dismantled the Browns this week. Give credit to Bill Belichick, for being a good coach. People are already thinking, oh, Brady's the reason why he won. Well, hold up on that, because he's already led this team to a 6-4 record in year 2 without Brady. And I expect them to get another win here on Thursday night against the Falcons, move them to 7-4 and, start sneaking back into that AFC East race with the Bills.
Now into our top 10, we got the LA Chargers. Tough loss this week. They're a lot better than their 5-4 record. So I think they just need to win. They just need to win a few games, get into that race, and have a shot at the division. Either them or the Chiefs, in my opinion. But going into the next game against the Steelers Sunday night should be a good one. Herbert's been really good this year, and same with all the offensive guys like normal.
Coming in 9th, we got the Chiefs. They've definitely looked like the Chiefs they've, been the last 2-3 years in this win and Sunday night against the Raiders. Now they got another shootout on deck, more than likely with Dallas. I expect this to be, the game of the week here at, I believe, 4:25 on Fox. It is the game of the week, I think. And I think if the Chiefs can win this game, they've proven that they've put all that, the first half to rest, turn the page, and will definitely be a scary team come playoff time.
Absolutely. At number 8, we got the Ravens. Kind of a trap game last week, but I expect them to get back on track against the Bears this week. They've just been the best team in the AFC North throughout the year. So, again, division predictions are looking pretty good for us, man.
At 7th, we got the Bucs, and what's going on here? 2 straight losses, before the bye week and after the bye week. And, not to say it's a must-win game for this Bucs team, but it kind of is, because you got the Saints and Panthers creeping up there. And you got a Monday night game, and, you'll see on Sunday if the Panthers and Saints both win. That's going to start putting some pressure on the Bucs team. But, when you got the GOAT and Tom Brady with, 7 rings, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as he makes the playoffs, you always got a shot.
Yeah. And dropping a little bit in our rankings, we got the LA Rams because of that that game was ugly by the Rams. Nobody could catch the ball. First of all, how many drops were there that game by the receivers? Like, geez. But Stafford didn't look great, but, that's just whatever. They're going into a bye. They're going to be refreshed and ready to win whoever they play in week 12.
And coming in at 5th, we got the Bills and a dominating win against the Jets. And we're going to see, how this Bills team can be, because it feels like 1 week they're up, 1 week they're down. And they got a tough test with Indianapolis next week. And it should be a good game. And if the Bills win this one, I think the Bills have slowly start increasing their playoff chances and pulling away, from all those mid-level teams that are still in the hunt.
And number 4, we got the Cardinals. Kind of just a really ugly loss. You could see it coming, all the Cam Newton guys. Place was going crazy. But that was kind of a trap game. They got the Seahawks this week. Once Kyler comes back, hopefully Kyler comes back. I don't even know. I think he might be out this week as well. Mm-hmm. But once he comes back, they're going to be that top 5 team. But until then, they're going to have limitations.
And at third, much deserving ranking, we finally put them up in the top 5 is the Dallas Cowboys. We've been kind of skeptical of this team all year on the defensive side of the ball, because we know what they have on offense with weapons with CeeDee Lamb, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, even Dalton Schultz and Tony Pollard. Like these guys have still contributed really well. And this defense has really stepped up, and I think Micah Parsons has looked like vet like prime Sean Lee, DeMarcus Ware for the Cowboys in his first year. And then you also got Trayvon Diggs, who, I think he has 8 interceptions now through 9 games. This defense has stepped up a lot, and they're really going to be put to the test this week against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Should be a great game there.
That's going to be the game of the week, absolutely. Coming in number 2, we got the Tennessee Titans. Really close game against the Saints, but you know what? A win's a win, and they're sitting at 8-2, which is the best in the AFC. So they're doing something right. They got the Texans. Should be an easy one at home. Mm-hmm. Start all your fantasy guys in this one.
It seems like they're still good even without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And when Henry comes back, I feel like it'll be around playoff time, and I think this Titans team is just going to be even, more thrilled that Henry's coming back for the playoffs. And I think this team definitely could make a Super Bowl run here. And first, we got my Packers, who took a dip last week, but they're back up here at 1 with, the pretty ugly 17-0 win against Seattle. The only downside is Aaron Jones got hurt. He'll be sidelined a few weeks. Nothing major, though, which is good. But first real Lambeau weather, you could say, this year, than snow and kind of gross weather. And the Packers looked like they were having fun out there. Defense didn't let up anything. And Rodgers, had a pretty mediocre game, but they got the win at the end of the day. They got the most deserving, record for the first place here. Yeah. And they're going to travel to Minnesota next week. Should be a good game. If they win that game, I think the division's pretty much on lock.
It's wrapped up if they beat the Vikings. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Ethan, I think that's going to be it, as the Packers are coming away with the number 1 rank.
That's it. That's it for today's power rankings. Stay tuned. On Thursday, we'll be dropping our the picks for this week. So we'll have, we have a guest picker. So those videos are awesome. So check those out. We got a few videos up on those, but until next time, Bench Buddies are out. Peace. She never called back.